What's up YouTube, Jeff back again from DopeTechDaily.com. Today I'm bringing you guys my 3-month review of the Huawei P20 Pro. Now I got this phone back in early April, and I have to tell you, the Huawei P20 Pro has definitely been the biggest surprise of 2018 for Android smartphones, personally for me, in sort of using the phone, what I expected, and what I actually ended up getting. So let's just go over the things that I've noticed in using them for 3 months and concentrate on some of the bigger important points like performance and battery life that I know people will be interested in. So first of all, the build quality on the phone, fantastic. The back actually has seems to be scratch resistant glass. I haven't caught any scratches at all on my P20 Pro, and I have used a case sometimes, but I've actually went without a case a fair amount and still don't have any scratches here on the shiny back of this blue model. I really do like the build of the phone. The only thing I don't like, of course, is the huge bottom chin. I actually do like the front-facing fingerprint sensor. I kind of missed that from the old Samsung phones, so I've actually been enjoying that quite a bit. The notch, of course, right here at the top, it's something that you got to get used to. I mean, you either like the notch or you don't. I haven't had a huge problem getting used to it because a lot of other Android phones, like the LG G7 and the OnePlus 6, also have implemented the notch. And of course, I have an iPhone 10, so I was already using it well before this and also on the Essential phone. Now let's talk a little bit about the display. The display quality on this phone is very good. It's definitely bright out here in the Arizona sun. I've been able to see it just fine. It's not quite as bright or vivid as the Galaxy S9 Plus or the Galaxy Note 8 or something like that, but it does have a better display than the Pixel 2 XL in my personal opinion, and it does compete with some of the other flagships like the LG G7 and the OnePlus 6 in terms of display quality. Navigating around the interface is really nice. I've been using the one-touch gestures where you can actually tap the button here to go back, and then you can hold it in order to go home. I really like that gestures. You swipe to the left or swipe to the right to bring up your recent apps. It's really convenient, and make sure that you don't have any of the soft touch buttons there at the bottom, which gives you extra screen real estate that, combined with the notch really gives you, more screen real estate to work with, and it's beneficial if you have the notch to also have those buttons at the bottom off. So I really like the fact that Huawei gives you multiple options to navigate around the interface. That's definitely a good thing. In terms of audio quality, the audio quality is one of the things that's necessarily not the best. In fact, the speakers are a little quiet actually compared to some other bottom-firing speakers. You also don't have a 3.5mm headphone jack, which is a downside in my opinion because I still like to listen to wired audio. There are other phones, of course, like the Galaxy S9 Plus, which I have right here, that have the headphone jack, and that's one of the reasons I often carry the S9 Plus with the P20 Pro, just in case I want to use wired headphones. I don't have to carry around a dongle. Now there is an entertainment advantage to the P20 Pro that no other Android phone has. That's this guy right here. It's the IR blaster. I've been using that a lot to change my TV, change TVs in public places, play around with things like that. It's a lot of fun, and it's something that every other Android manufacturer has pretty much gotten rid of in terms of at the flagship level. Talking about performance, the Kirin chipset over time has performed very, very well. I haven't noticed any issues with apps loading slowly. It's not as fast as the Snapdragon 845, of course, but it is a very impressive processor overall, and I've had no issues with lag or anything like that, performance degradation over time. If you are a gamer, you're definitely going to notice that it's not going to give you quite the same performance that you would get with the Snapdragon 845 on an S9 or a OnePlus 6 or an LG G7, but it's been admirably performing, and I thought over time it might slow down, but in these 3 months I've had absolutely no issues whatsoever with that. Battery life is perhaps the strongest suit of the P20 Pro, aside from the camera, which I'll talk about in a second. This phone is not too thick, but has a huge battery inside, and I get about 6.5 to 7 hours screen on time, my daily use, watching YouTube videos, answering 500 YouTube comments, social media posts, Twitter, etc., and also doing my work with the university. It's a very impressive phone in terms of screen on time, battery life. If you don't use your phone too much, you could probably get 2 hours, you could probably get 2 days out of this phone without having to charge it if you're a lighter user. And also, of course, you have fast charging as well. Again, just a shame to not see the headphone jack at the bottom, but you do, of course, have USB Type-C with that charging. The next thing, let's talk about the software. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Huawei's software, but it has improved a lot over time. And on the P20 Pro, the software is tolerable, I would say. They've added a lot of nice options, like allowing you to get a dark mode for all the settings as well as the quick settings tray. I really like that. They've also added the private space feature, which I've talked about in a number of videos where I compared the P20 Pro to other flagships. Basically, the private space feature lets you log into a completely different account just by using a fingerprint on your other finger, for instance, and then just lets you log into a completely new account. I set this one up to be stock, just look like the phone looks like it's stock. And then if I use my other fingerprint on my right hand, I can go directly back into my actual personal account. So I like a lot of the features they've added. I still don't like some of the things they do with notifications and battery optimization, but if you're a smart user, you can go in and tune all of those settings. You're not gonna have any problems receiving your notifications or having your battery, excessively controlling your notifications in the background like social media. I don't really like the launcher. You guys can see I'm running Action Launcher here, and I do like to run Action Launcher on a lot of my phones, but especially on the Huawei phone, because the launcher just really isn't that up to date. It still feels a little bit stale and old. Maybe that's just because I prefer the swipe up to get into the app drawer, which Huawei doesn't really allow you to do on their phones. They've still got a little button there for the app drawer at the bottom. That can be a little annoying for me, but overall the software has been good. Still not great. This phone would be a 10 out of 10 best phone of the year for sure if it had better software, in my personal opinion. The camera. So triple camera on the back. I've made a bunch of photo comparison videos with the P20 Pro, and I'll drop links to all those below, comparing it to various flagships. But there's really nothing you can say about this triple camera on the rear, aside from in terms of low light performance, this Leica camera on the P20 Pro is the best smartphone camera on the market today. And yes, it's even better than my Pixel 2 XL. I find myself reaching for this camera, the P20 Pro, over the Pixel 2 XL. When I was at Google I/O this year, I decided to use the P20 Pro for the majority of my photos over the Pixel 2 XL for that reason. Also, there are a couple of negative sides, of course, to the P20 Pro's camera. A lot of people have commented that for video, the stabilization isn't that great, and that is true. But if you're interested in still shots, especially if you take a lot of low light shots or at night, the night mode and the triple camera really come through in the P20 Pro, and it's one of the reasons why this phone is definitely one that I'm going to keep in my arsenal for a really, really long time. So overall, those are my thoughts on the P20 Pro after 3 months. I really like this phone. Battery life, performance is great. Camera is amazing. The hardware and display, they're good, not great. And the software, again, is improving. I wish it had a little bit better software, especially with the skin and the launcher. But those things, of course, aren't deal breakers. If I had to make a recommendation, if you like Huawei and you're looking at getting this phone in the US, it's only $699 right now on eBay. Import one if you're on T-Mobile or AT&T. The phone works. You're going to get LTE if you're in a large city, and you're going to be really, really happy with the battery life and the camera. Of course, you could also wait for the Mate 20 Pro, which will be out this fall, and you can be sure that I'm going to get my hands on that and review it. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification icon so I can make future videos like this. Find me at dopetechdaily.com, Google+, Instagram, and Twitter at the links in the description. You can also find me writing at gadgethacks.com, where I write about Android. Appreciate you guys checking it out, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.